80% of your results come from just 20% of your activities. Yet most people spend their entire lives drowning in the trivial many. It is a startling statistic when you really stop to think about it. Brian Tracy argues that your ability to choose between the vital few and the urgent many is the only thing standing between a life of mediocrity and a life of total mastery. If you don't control your time, someone else, or worse, your own impulses, will control it for you. This isn't just about being efficient, it's about being effective. It's about making sure that the things you do every single day actually add up to something meaningful at the end of the year. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to walk through the exact system Brian Tracy used to write 80 books and build a global empire from scratch. Think about that for a second. 80 books. Most people struggle to finish reading one book a year, let alone writing 80 of them while running a massive international business. You're going to get the mental tools to get more done in 2 hours than most people do in 2 days. If you click away now, you're basically choosing to stay in that busy trap, where you're always tired but never actually getting ahead. We're looking at why you feel like you're sprinting on a treadmill, and how to finally step off and start moving toward a real destination. We want to move from just being busy to actually being productive. Brian Tracy's Master Your Time, Master Your Life isn't just another book about to-do lists. We have enough of those. It's a strategic blueprint for high performance. We live in this quote-unquote attention economy, where every app, every notification, and every social media ping is trying to steal your focus and sell it to the highest bidder. This book matters because it's about the psychology of choice. It's about taking back the steering wheel of your life. It's about realizing that time is your most precious resource, and once it's gone, you can never get it back. You can always make more money, but you can never make more minutes. Let's get into the first big shift. Most people think time management is about calendars, planners, and fancy apps. It's not. It's actually life management. How you view time determines your self-worth. Tracy talks about this thing called the internal locus of control. It's a fancy way of saying you need to feel like you're the boss of your own life. When you have an internal locus of control, you believe that you are responsible for what happens to you. If you feel like a victim of your inbox, your coworkers, or your boss's random requests, your stress is going to hit the roof. You'll feel out of control, and that leads to burnout and frustration. You have to move from feeling like a passenger to feeling like the driver. Think of your life like a ship in the middle of the vast ocean. Most people are just rowing as hard as they can, day in and day out. That's operational thinking. They're exhausted because they're focused entirely on the effort of rowing. But the master of time is the person checking the compass and looking at the stars. That's strategic thinking. They want to make sure they aren't rowing at full speed toward a massive waterfall or a rocky shore.
If you don't stop to look at the map, all that hard work is just a waste of energy. You have to stop reacting to every buzz in your pocket and start responding to your actual goals. You need to be the captain who sets the course, not just the engine that provides the power. The thing is, even if you have a map, you probably have way too many places you're trying to go at once. Your to-do list is likely a mile long, and that leads us into the ABCDE method. This is a brutal way to categorize your day. We've all had those days where we check off 20 small things, answering emails, filing papers, tidying the desk, but still feel like we failed by the time the sun goes down. That's because those were C tasks, things that are nice to do but don't really matter in the long run. We do them because they're easy and they give us a little hit of dopamine. We avoid the A tasks, the big, scary ones, because they require real brain power and focus. It's like cleaning your room when you have a massive final exam tomorrow. You're busy, sure. Your room looks great, but you're still going to fail the test because you didn't study. The ABCDE method forces you to label every single task before you start. A is a must-do with big consequences if you don't get it done. B is a should-do with minor consequences. C is nice to do but has no real impact on your future. D is for delegate. Find someone else or a piece of software to do it. And E is for eliminate. Just stop doing it entirely. You aren't allowed to touch a B task until all your A tasks are dead and buried. This requires a level of discipline that most people simply don't have, but it's the secret to getting ahead. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by a to-do list that never seems to end, hit that like button so I know I'm not the only one. It really helps the channel out, and it lets me know you guys want more of these deep dives into how to actually fix our schedules and reclaim our lives. But wait. Even if you prioritize perfectly, there's one mental trap that ruins it all. It's the idea that everything on your list is important. Brian Tracy introduces the law of three. He says that in any job or business, there are only 3 things you do that account for 90% of your value. Just 3. Everything else is just support work. It might be necessary, but it doesn't move the needle on your success. Think about a professional basketball player. They don't spend 8 hours a day filing their taxes, booking their own travel, or answering fan mail. They spend 8 hours on the 3 skills that make them elite: shooting, conditioning, and team play. If they spent all day doing paperwork, they'd be out of the league in a year. You need to ask yourself, if I could only do one thing on my list all day, which one would add the most value to my career or my life? Then ask what the second and third ones are. Once you know those 3, you have to protect them with your life. Everything else is a distraction. If you're a writer, your 3 things might be researching, writing, and editing. If you're a salesperson, it's prospecting, presenting, and closing. Stop letting the support work take over your prime hours. Now, this next part is where most people get uncomfortable. It's called creative procrastination. Usually we think procrastination is a sin.
We're told from a young age that procrastination is the thief of time. But Tracy says you cannot do everything. It's physically impossible. There aren't enough hours in the day to do every single thing that comes your way. So, if you have to procrastinate on something, and you will, you might as well choose what you're going to fail at. You have to intentionally put off the low-value tasks so you have room for the big ones. It's like a garden. If you don't pull the weeds, those low-value emails, pointless meetings, and quick chats that lead nowhere, they will literally choke out the flowers, which are your big dreams and projects. You have to learn the art of saying no. Not just to things you hate, but to good things that aren't the best things. This is how top CEOs actually work less than their employees. They aren't doing more work, they're doing more of the right work and letting the small stuff fall through the cracks on purpose. They understand that saying yes to a C task is effectively saying no to an A task. Every time you agree to a low-value meeting, you are stealing time from your most important goals. Hold on, though. This next part changes everything about how you start your morning. We've all heard of eating the frog. It's one of Tracy's most famous ideas, and for good reason. The frog is the biggest, ugliest, most important task you have. The one you're most likely to procrastinate on. It's the task that makes you feel a little bit of dread when you think about it. If you eat a live frog first thing in the morning, nothing worse is going to happen to you all day. You've already done the hardest part. The reason this works is because willpower is like a phone battery. It's full when you wake up, but every decision you make, what to wear, what to eat for breakfast, which email to answer first, drains it. By the time 4 p.m. rolls around, your battery is at 5%. If you wait until then to start your A task, you're going to choose the easy path every time. You'll scroll social media or do C tasks instead. You have to tackle the elephant while you're still hungry and energized. And you don't eat an elephant in one bite. You take it one steak at a time. Break that giant project into tiny 15-minute chunks, but start the first chunk before you even check your phone or get a second cup of coffee. If you have 2 frogs to eat the ugliest one first. Don't sit and look at it for long. Just start. Which frog are you avoiding right now? Tell me in the comments. Sometimes just typing it out and admitting it makes it easier to actually go do it. And subscribe if you want more of these breakdowns that help you get your life together and reach your full potential. But there's a deeper reason why we struggle with this. It's called the long-time perspective. Successful people make decisions based on where they want to be in 5 years, not how they feel in 5 minutes. We live in a world that has fried our dopamine receptors. We want the instant hit of finishing a small task. We want the notification. We want the quick win. We want to feel like we're making progress, even if we're just spinning our wheels. Tracy compares this to planting an oak tree versus mowing the grass. Mowing the grass gives you an instant result. It looks better right now. It's satisfying. But the oak tree is what provides shade for a lifetime. You have to be willing to do work today that won't pay off for months or even years. That's delayed gratification. It's the #1 predictor of success in almost every area of life. If you can shift your mindset from getting through the day to building a legacy, your daily choices become much easier. You start to see that an hour spent on an A task is an investment, while an hour spent on a C task is just a cost. Wait until you see how this all ties together with Lesson 7, because this is the reason most people fail their New Year's resolutions by the middle of January. It's called zero-based thinking. This is a mental tool where you ask yourself, knowing what I know now, is there anything I'm doing today that I wouldn't start up again if I had to do it over? It's a powerful question that clears away the clutter of our lives. We stay in bad jobs, bad relationships, and failing projects because of the sunk cost fallacy. We think, well, I've already put 3 years into this career, I can't quit now. Or, I've already spent $5,000 on this business idea, I have to keep going. But Tracy says that's like an airplane pilot who realizes they're flying toward a massive storm. They don't keep flying into the lightning just because they already spent 2 hours in the air. They course correct. They turn around. They find a new path. You need to look at your schedule, your habits, and your commitments with fresh eyes. If it's not helping you reach those top 3 goals we talked about earlier, you need to have the courage to quit. Quitting the wrong things is just as important as starting the right things. It gives you the great reset you need to reclaim your time. Ask yourself, if I weren't already doing this, would I start doing it today, knowing what I know now? If the answer is no, then your next move is to figure out how to get out of it as quickly as possible. This applies to everything from your gym routine to the people you hang out with on the weekends. Looking at this book as a whole, what I loved about Tracy's advice is how punchy it is. There's no fluff here. He isn't interested in the abstract philosophy of time. He's interested in the physics of it. How do you get from point A to point B without wasting half your life? The part that hit me hardest was the idea that time management is really self-worth management. If you don't value your time, you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, nobody else will either. People will treat your time as if it's free, and you'll let them because you haven't set any boundaries. If there's a weakness to this book, it's that it feels a bit old school. Tracy wrote this before TikTok and the constant barrage of the smartphone era. He doesn't go as deep into the digital minimalism side of things as some modern authors do. He doesn't talk about app blockers or the way social media algorithms are designed to hijack your brain's reward system. But honestly, the principles are timeless. Whether it's a physical letter or a Slack notification, the distraction is the same. The solution, brutal prioritization, remains the only way out. The tools might change, but the human brain stays the same. This book is perfect for professionals, students, or entrepreneurs who feel like they're spinning their wheels. If you're working 10 hours a day, but your bank account or your grades aren't moving, this is for you. It's not for people looking for a life hack or a quick fix. This isn't a one weird trick kind of book. It requires a fundamental change in your character. You have to become the kind of person who is disciplined enough to do the hard thing first. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable in the short term to be successful in the long term. The one big takeaway from all of this is simple. Your life is a reflection of how you spend your minutes. If you want a different life, you have to change how you value your time. You are the architect of your life, not just the building that's being constructed by outside forces. You have to take the blueprints back. You have to decide what the structure is going to look like. If you don't have a plan, you will always be a part of someone else's plan. Look, we've all been there. We've all had those weeks where we feel like we're drowning in a sea of emails and errands. But the truth is, you don't need more time. You get the same 24 hours as the most successful people on the planet. What you need is more direction. You need to know which way to point the ship. Success is not about doing more things. It is about doing the right things more often. Here's the thing about Brian's approach. It's about momentum. When you eat that frog in the morning, you get an immediate win. That win creates a surge of dopamine. That dopamine gives you the energy and the confidence to tackle the next task. By noon, you've done more than most people do all week. That feeling of being in control is the greatest stress reliever in the world. Stress doesn't come from having too much to do. It comes from not knowing where to start and feeling like you're losing control of your day. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this and move on to the next video. Don't let this be another piece of productivity porn that you consume without taking action. Pick one thing. Maybe it's the ABCDE method. Maybe it's identifying your top 3 high-value activities. Or maybe it's just deciding what your frog is for tomorrow morning. Write it down right now. Put it on a sticky note. Put it on your mirror where you'll see it first thing in the morning. Tomorrow morning, don't check your email first thing. Don't scroll through social media to see what you missed overnight. Don't even check the weather. Just sit down and spend 60 minutes on that one big task. 1 hour. That's all. I promise you, if you do that for 1 week, your entire life will start to look different. You'll feel a sense of accomplishment that no amount of C tasks can ever give you. You will finally feel like you are making real progress toward the life you want to live. Remember what we started with. Your attention is being sold every single day. Every time you pick up your phone without a purpose, you're letting someone else profit off your life. You're letting them decide what you think about and what you care about. Reclaim it. Stop being the rower and start being the captain. Check your compass, find your A tasks, and start eating those frogs. Success isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's not about having the most talent. It's about being the person who can focus on one thing at a time until it's finished. Brian Tracy has given us the blueprint. Now it's up to you to actually build the house. It's up to you to put in the work and stay disciplined when things get difficult. If you found this helpful, it would mean a lot if you shared it with one friend who's always complaining about being too busy. We all know that person who is constantly stressed but never seems to get the big things done. Let's help each other get out of the busy trap and start achieving our actual goals. Your time is the only thing you can never get more of. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. Spend it wisely. Start today by making a choice. Choose the vital few over the urgent many. Master your time, and you will absolutely master your life. It's easy to feel like the world is just happening to you, but that's an illusion.
It's a comfortable lie we tell ourselves so we don't have to take responsibility for our choices. Every minute you spend on a C task is a minute you're stealing from your A goals. Every time you say yes to a meeting you don't need to be in, you're saying no to your own dreams. Tracy's message is a wake-up call. It's a reminder that we are in charge. We have the power to say no. We have the power to prioritize. We have the power to focus our minds on what truly matters. We are not victims of our schedules unless we choose to be. The hardest part of any important task is getting started on it in the first place. Once you actually begin working on a high-value task, you seem to be naturally motivated to continue.
The brain loves to finish what it starts. You just have to get over that initial hump of resistance. That's why eating the frog is so powerful. It gets the hardest part out of the way while you still have the strength and the willpower to do it. Don't let your life be a series of urgent interruptions. Don't be the person who responds to every fire but never builds anything of their own. Make your life a series of important achievements. You have the tools now. You have the system. Go eat that frog. As we wrap this up, think back to that 1% rule. If you can improve your productivity by just 1% every day, the compound effect over a year is staggering. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to become a productivity machine by tomorrow. You just have to start making better choices with your minutes. Every morning is a fresh start. Every morning is a chance to be the architect again. Don't let the noise of the world drown out your own goals. Focus on what matters, ignore the rest, and watch how fast things start to change. You'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish when you stop trying to do everything and start doing the right things. You've got this. Now go out there and make it happen. Reclaim your time, reclaim your life.